Hey everyone, and welcome to Backseat Sports. I'm Josh, and that is Caleb, and we are back at it again with another video. And this one, another predictions video. The Illinois game is on Saturday night, and we're talking all about it. How you doing, Caleb?
Another night game? I mean,
another 3 in a row. That's crazy.
I'd kind of rather have this one be a middle of the day game.
Same.
I'd like to.
It doesn't feel worthy of like a Big Ten night game.
I like to not have the Nebraska game be later, so I can like enjoy college football after we win.
True. True.
It's kind of a nice feeling. I enjoy that.
Absolutely. So I mean, my goodness, if you guys didn't check out our last video, we basically broke down, reacted to, whatever you want to call it, the Northern Illinois game, which a lot of what we talked about in that video will be really relevant to what we're talking about in this video. So we highly recommend that you go and watch that one. It was a little bit shorter than our average run, so keep it a little bit easier to listen to at least. So this video, Illinois baby, Saturday night. Nebraska is 13-point favorites, a 63.5 point over-under for the game. In Illinois, obviously, it's a road game for Nebraska. Pretty interesting, to be honest. So usually how that works, over-unders, it's like a 3-point swing. So it would be like being 16-point home favorites. So we're actually heavier favorites than we were against Northern Illinois, which is interesting, definitely, to say the least. And it's going to be a really, really fun game, I think.
Yeah, can Frost get his first away game victory?
Yeah.
I can't believe we're saying that 3 games into his second season. But I feel like it's a very winnable game for us at the same
100%.
time. So, and we're also looking for win 900 for Nebraska football as a whole. Which that's
really cool.
A pretty exciting thing. Hopefully this 1,000 comes a lot faster than it did to take to get to 900.
Seriously.
It's kind of rough in these last.
Like, how about it only takes 9 years? That'd be awesome.
Yeah, why not?
Why not? We'll see you in 9 years, 1,000. As you may know, we played Illinois last year, and it went fairly well for Nebraska. It was a game in Lincoln, 54-35 against Illinois. Zigbo had a few nice plays in that game, and overall a really solid game for the Huskers. There was 1,100 yards of offense in that game. It was absolutely wild. 606 yards from Nebraska, 509 yards from Illinois. It was an absolute barn burner. And Illinois, in a lot of ways, kind of gifted it to us. They had 5 turnovers in the game. It was an interesting one, to say the least, for the Huskers. But overall, a fun experience for Nebraska, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, it was weird, though, because Illinois, we kept letting them back in the game. Like, we'd get, up 2 touchdowns, and they'd go score. It's like, what the heck? Why haven't we put this game away? And our defense still looked really bad.
Yeah, AJ Bush torched us.
Are we going to lose this again? But no, we didn't. Thank goodness.
Clutch it up, for sure, for sure. Yeah, it should be an interesting one. So this year, Illinois coming into the game, they're 2-1 on the year with wins against Akron, a nice 42-3 win against Akron actually, and then a 31-23 win against UConn. But interestingly enough, Illinois was actually 20-point favorites going into that game, and so for it to be even a semi-close game was unfortunate for Illinois for sure. They didn't look great in the game at all. Eastern Michigan last week, they lost to Eastern Michigan 34-31 on a game-winning field goal. So not ideal if you're an Illinois fan. Sorry to all you Illinois fans out there. Lovie Smith just said they lost the battle up front, man, and it wasn't pretty for sure.
A good start for Illinois nonetheless, though. They have a be 2-1. That's something to be excited about for those guys. AJ Bush is gone. Their new quarterback is Brandon Peters. He's a junior. That 5-star quarterback that's new. He's also sitting on the bench. Actually, Brandon Peters has been doing pretty decent for him this year. 63.2 completion percentage, and he's got 9 touchdowns to just 2 interceptions. So not bad whatsoever for the guy.
Peters was actually at Michigan 2 years ago. He ironically actually played in the Nebraska game last year. He started a few games for Michigan in 2017. He transferred to Illinois this year, so this is his first year in Illinois. He has 2 years of eligibility left. So, I mean, Illinois is feeling pretty good about that now that he's playing pretty well right now. And they're hoping that he can continue it against Nebraska, but that's something we're going to have to wait and see for sure. One guy that we need to definitely talk about is Reggie Corbin. He's their leading rusher, their senior running back, and he played great last year. He had over 1,000 yards rushing last year, over 8.5 a carry last year on 1,000 yards, which is real nice. This year hasn't gone quite as well, but still going pretty well for him. 7.5 a carry, 180 rushing yards so far in 3 games. So nothing crazy on the ground, but still solid performance overall.
Yeah, if you watched our Big Ten predictions video, we talked about Corbin. He was the 3rd team All Big Ten last year. It definitely does some nice things. It'll be nice, like Josh said, kind of get to see a true test of a really good running back against
100%.
our defensive line, who's done a pretty good job thus far. And so switching over to their defensive side, they've actually done some really good things this year. Lovie Smith's always kind of had a pretty good defensive line, and this year they're only allowing 2.22 yards per carry thus far. And
yeah,
they're actually
ninth in the country.
Ninth ranked. Not bad, but not as good as Nebraska.
Yeah,
who's ranked 8th in the country in this stat. So
yeah,
suck
it,
Illinois.
Out by 0.04 yards. Eat it. Let's go, Illinois.
So
come at it.
Anything you could do, we could do better. Okay,
100%.
So.
Yeah, I mean, Eastern Michigan, they went for 4 yards, over 4 yards a carry on them, so it's not like they're unbeatable. I think Nebraska should be able to, do something, but we'll have to wait and see.
At least Mo Washington, if nothing else.
Those are going to be the matchups. This game is going to be our running game versus their running defense, and their running game versus our running defense. Those are going to be that's going to be the biggest battle to watch for in the game for sure.
One thing that Josh and I have been really talking about this year is offensive consistency, and something that we really need to see out of the Nebraska team if we're going to have some longevity of success going into conference play this year.
We talked about it before. It's those scripted plays, those plays that the coaches set up. They practice a lot during the week, and Scott Frost and his offense has been very successful in those drives. Really, really, really nice.
Yeah, so we've taken a 7-0 lead 5 straight times in the Big Ten, like when we're in the Big Ten conference, which is really nice. But we need to see some more success outside of those. It is a really nice thing that we're able to get points, but we need to be able to continue build some more mojo than just those first drives for us, for sure.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we've scored on all 3 of our first drives of this season so far, whether it's field goals or touchdowns. Like we talked about, like literally the past 2-3 videos has been about our offensive consistency. We just need to see it this game. We're gonna probably talk about more as we go on in the video. We're just hoping to see that consistency really come to play at the end of the day,
And next on to our defense. Nebraska's actually crushing it right now. We have forced 15 fumbles in our past 8 games, and just to show how good that is, in the last 34 games we had only forced 14 fumbles. Thanks, Mike crazy, Riley.
Man.
Thanks.
That shows like the effect of coaching, man. Like, come on. There's no better like debate than that. Like, what in the world? 15 forced fumbles in 8 games versus 14 and 34? Like,
Mike Riley was really good at defense, Josh. Bob Diaco was a genius.
Hey.
Genius.
That's
what Sean Eichhorst said. He was a genius.
Defensively, again, our secondary has been looking so much better than we ever thought it was going to be looking this year so far. Lamar Jackson's really coming to form. He's currently tied for the lead in pass breakups per game on the year, so two pass breakups per game so far he's averaging. And
I love his
real
grill,
nice,
by the way, too.
Oh yeah, respect,
Very nice.
And so like that, the duo of Lamar Jackson and Dicaprio Bootle has been really awesome. Teams have been trying to test Lamar Jackson, and he's been stepping up to the plate, really playing well. That's exactly what Nebraska needed to keep their secondary in check. We're gonna be looking for that continued success in this game versus Illinois.
What do the Huskers need to see this week? One big thing, again, with Illinois' rush defense being pretty good this year, I really want to be able to see some runs in between the tackles. We kind of built on it this last week against Northern Illinois. We saw Dedrick Mills go inside. We saw Maurice Washington, and we actually found a little bit of success in there. I'd really like to see Nebraska build on it. It's going to be key. We can't just do all this outside stuff. If we can build a little bit more and see some more success against a better rush defense, I think it'll build some confidence and hopefully some momentum for our offensive line as well as our running backs.
This game is kind of like the tune-up game for Ohio State, as basically everyone's seeing it. This is our last chance to get into some rhythm before we play the Buckeyes in Memorial Stadium, and that's where everything's on the line. That's the biggest, again, at night, a massive opportunity for the Huskers to show what we can do on the biggest stage. That's why there's so many things that we're really looking for in this game, because we want to be able to play at an elite level against the Buckeyes next Saturday. And it's going to take a game where we see a lot of improvement against Illinois for that to even be plausible, because right now, if we were playing Ohio State this week, we'd probably be like 20-point underdogs, if not more. And so we need to see some big improvements, some big-time plays from Nebraska this weekend to show that we have what it takes to even have a chance against Ohio State next weekend.
Another thing, we need to see Adrian Martinez stop being hesitant. We're going to need to see him start making some throws. Again, we saw a little bit more of it this week, but man, he's going to have to take, again, a big step. If you didn't have time against Illinois, you are not going to have it against Ohio State. They play a lot faster, a lot smarter. Their defense is a lot better than anything we've seen this year. So we're going to need him to be confident in himself, to trust in himself and all that he's practiced this year. Oh, I mean, I just want to see him have a good game. This sophomore slump's been rough for him thus far, but hopefully he can shake it off.
I mean, obviously, offensively, we're hoping to see continued success on the offensive line. Well, improvement on the offensive line. Again, we're still waiting on the updates, injury updates and all, but overall, if we can see like a consistent pocket from Martinez, the ability for the offense to continue their drives downfield, consistent and continued offensive drives is 100% something we need to see. An ability to convert on third down like we keep saying. Again, last week we were okay. We were in the mid 40% is what we want to see on third down. Against the poor teams, we need to be above 50%, and we still haven't been able to do that yet. So we're looking for a third down percentage above 50% against Illinois, against a defense that can be exploited. If we're converting over 50% against Illinois, that gives me hope that we can convert around 40% against Ohio State, which could be enough to compete. So we really need to see that improvement on third down, which we just haven't been truly seeing yet. Defensively, we just can't be allowing the big plays against Illinois, because if we're allowing those big plays against Illinois, we're going to allow some big plays versus Ohio State. So I think that's something that we're definitely looking for.
With Corbin, it'll be a nice real test against our defensive line. If I can see that our defensive line is still holding Reggie Corbin, to some way less
under
than
3
he's
yards
used to
carry.
Distances, that gives us hope for that. We can stop J.K. Dobbins a little bit. And I think especially in the second half, because man, in the first half we always look really good, but man, our defense, it kind of really weakens and actually gets worse. I'm gonna need to see some defensive adjustments on the fly in the second half of this game, because if we can do that and we can look as dominant as we are in the first half as in the second half, we're gonna be a scary defensive team this year, and one that I can really believe in to do some really good stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I'll be really excited if we shut down Illinois' running game, because that'll actually mean something. And these past few games, sure, they're competent running. They're running the ball, especially Colorado. They're competent, but we didn't necessarily shut down Colorado. So that's why against a team like Illinois, if we can keep them to under 4, especially under 3 yards per carry, I'll be feeling really, really good heading into the Ohio State game that our defense is actually legitimate. That's what we're really hoping to see here, is some proof that our defense is legitimate and on a road performance against a competent offense. If we can show up and really play a solid defensive game, I'll be really, really excited about that.
So that comes on to our predictions. So for me this week, I think the Huskers are going to win at 42-24. I think we're going to have a really strong first half defensive performance, but in the second half, I think those runs are going to start sneaking to that 3, 4, 5 yard range. We kind of get worn down a little bit. I haven't been really impressed with our second half stamina as a whole, and something that really needs to be cleaned up. So I feel like they're going to sneak in some points in that second half. But I think Martinez is going to have a lot more consistency this week on some passing. I think that we're going to be able to establish the run game just a little bit more than we have in the past, to just give him a little bit more breathing room. So I think it'll be a solid overall performance for Nebraska.
I mean, would you be content with 42-24, or are you happy with that? Are you disappointed with that? Like, if that was the case, how would you feel about that?
I think I'll be pretty content if we're getting some consistent drives in the second and third quarters, second, third, fourth quarter. And, I'm kind of still worried about that turnover. Mills has turned the ball over at least once in every single game. Martinez, he didn't last game, but I feel like that's still going to be a little bit of a problem. Our special teams, there's still a lot of eeks on it. I'd be happy. Again, a win's a win, and that's momentum building for our team. So as long as we come away with a pretty convincing win, which I still think that is, it beats the spread, it'll be a good thing for the team.
Yeah, I mean, the 13-point spread makes me a little worried, because I feel like we should be a little bit bigger favorites than what we are. But at the same time, that's why I'm a little hesitant to give the prediction that I'm kind of about to give here. I truly think our offense is going to find its rhythm this game. I think that we're going to be very happy with how this offense performs, and our run game's going to continue to get in rhythm. I think Maurice Washington's going to break off another big run or two, maybe.
Oh, I know that's going to happen.
Big runs. And bury a few more defenders along the way. He's about to be the Grim Reaper of defenders if he keeps this up. Oh my goodness.
Of their ankles, man.
Yeah, I know. So I'm giving us a 45-17 win. If we're giving up more than 20 points to this team, I will be worried. I think we're going to get smacked against Ohio State if that's the case. I mean, in a game, if we're giving up more than 20, that means we're turning the ball over on our own side of the field a handful of times. I think Caleb probably believes. Do you believe that? I mean,
I think we'll do it once.
If we're not turning the ball over, we're going to dominate this game. I don't see a world where Illinois is going to be able to consistently drive the ball up against us. I do believe in our run defense to an extent, at least where we're going to be able to keep them in check for most of the game. And so that's why I pick us to win 45-17. I think Martinez is going to feel his rhythm. This is going to be a game where Nebraska fans start to get pretty excited about this Ohio State game. Maybe some false hope, because I'm not so confident about that one. But that's what we're going to be talking about next week.
I mean, but come on. I mean, like, what have we haven't seen Ohio State play anybody, though.
All I'm saying, I don't know about that. We'll talk about that next week. I think we're going to have a really fun video next week about that. But yeah, so that's why I think we're going to take us 45-17. That's going to be a really, really impressive road win based off the spread. And hopefully
Scott Frost's first road win.
Scott Frost's first road win, our 900th program win, and a really successful night for the Huskers is what I have us in store for.
Yeah, and as always, guys, we love to hear what you guys have to say.
Yeah.
How do you think the Huskers will perform? Is Adrian Martinez finally going to break the slump? How many runs is Maurice Washington going to break off? How good of a performance does Nebraska need for us to feel like that we have a chance against Ohio State?
Yeah,
I'd love to hear about that. And as always, guys, if you liked it, like, comment, favorite, and subscribe. And as always, guys, I'm Caleb. That's Josh. This has been Backseat Sports, and we'll see you next video.
See ya.